What's up, guys? Football Fumble back again for another video reviewing game week 2 of the Premier League season / FPL season. I'm
Yeah,
Ross, and guess who's back?
I am Adam.
Back again.
Back,
Anyway,
finally.
I'm not going to sing anymore on any other
No.
videos. Um, anyway, we're just going to bounce straight into it with our fancy new graphics. Oh
Hats off to
yes,
Ross for this one. Hats
oh
off to
yes.
Ross.
Would you just look? Would you just look? Guess who's been hard at anyway?
Look, not me.
Not me. Right. So
Right, straight into
this
it.
is
The stew.
my game week, Adam.
Not the best.
Haaland captain, like most, is what it is. Don't lose out because, let's be honest, everyone captained Haaland bar a few people. Old rank 25,685. New rank
Decent.
220,040. It's the
It's
second game week.
recoverable.
It doesn't matter, does it? It's not even recover. You can't. You could be last and be recoverable. Makes no odds.
Yeah, exactly.
Williams with 7 points on the bench. You're never gonna play him really with his
Yeah, you'd be
fixture, so
silly
it
too.
is what it is. Jesus, Hall, Salah, Kulusevski, Bailey, Zinchenko, Robbo, Trent, Mendy, blank.
Just want to talk about the old Arsenal. The Jesus Hall.
The Jesus Hall, mate. It's
I,
the
I just
first
want to jump
goal.
straight to it,
It's the
honestly.
first goal. Should we transition to yours? Right, actually, right before we show Adam's team. Adam was on holiday before the first deadline. We didn't talk about the
Anything.
teams we were going for, anything. Now, you may notice something when we transfer to Adam's team.
We didn't, like,
We
I was
didn't
away whilst during the
discuss
first game week.
anything.
Ross dropped me a message and he showed me his team, and I just went, "Oh my god, look at
Right,
this!"
let's transition
Look, have a look, have a look.
to Adam's team.
It's the same.
It's the same apart from
Two
Kane
players
and Taylor on the bench.
and Taylor on the bench, who doesn't matter
And yet, somehow, I am 600,000 places higher because of the Haaland Hall
because of
first week.
Haaland. Yeah, and I mean Salah's had a stinker this week.
And Salah has been captained down the side for a blank.
It made sense, but I mean,
It made sense at the time.
beating
It's,
Palace isn't for everyone, is it?
it's all
Let's
about
be real.
hindsight. Anyway,
Beating Palace isn't for
let's go
everyone.
into that Arsenal game first off.
We look
Jesus
different.
opened in 15 minutes. That finish is outrageous. Arsenal looked so dynamic going forward. Looked like they were going to score every attack. Jesus,
Gabby, and
4 goal
Saka. Oh.
contributions. 4. That's unheard of.
I mean,
Martinelli on the left peg as well with that finish.
absolute belter
Going
finish.
forward, Arsenal look like they can absolutely pump some teams.
All round, we look unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like literally all round. Saliba, I'm so impressed with. I don't want to turn this into a little Arsenal thing, but
No, well,
Zinchenko especially.
we had to
The
turn it into
feet
do
on
that
that
because we're
man.
Arsenal fans, right?
Yeah, the feet on Zinchenko. The work rate,
Zinchenko's
everything
quality.
from him.
And
I can't wait for like Tierney to start as a left back.
yeah,
Zinchenko to drop into that left centre mid role that Xhaka was doing. And it's
yeah.
gonna be unbelievable.
On another day, Arsenal keep a clean sheet in that game.
And
The
score another
the
4.
first one, Ben White kind of loses his man. Saliba has to try and intercept it, and it ends up being his own goal. It's a bit of a freak goal, but it is what it is. The second
Either
one,
intercepts it
yeah,
or that.
the second one, Ramsdale's going to be disappointed letting it through his legs, but he was quality throughout the rest of the game. So
Yeah.
not gonna get on
It's not
Rambo's
that
back
deep.
whatsoever. And just the energy in the crowd when Saliba scored that own goal, there was no negative reaction. They just got behind him, and you can
It was the
tell
second we conceded as
the
well.
connection between the fans and the team is as
It's
good as
unreal.
it's been for about 15 years. It's pretty incredible, and
It
it's a
was
good
the
vibe
second
around
we
Arsenal.
concede. As soon as you concede, you're just like, "Oh, I'm not worried. We're gonna get a goal back,"
And you wonder
and we scored like instant comeback.
what can Arsenal achieve? Let us know in the comments. What can Arsenal achieve this
That's
season?
what I feel.
I'm looking.
You'd be silly
I'm
not
still
to
looking
back
top three.
3,
We just
top 3, 2.
we'll move on to
One of
the
those.
Chelsea Tottenham game later. But I watched it thinking, I don't fear these two teams against Arsenal right now. I don't.
They're just a bit mediocre. They're
Not
lacking in
mediocre's
certain
harsh.
areas.
They're still
They're
they're still
good,
going to be
but
fighting for top four, right? But right
yeah.
now, I just feel Arsenal have the momentum for one, and we look the most slick going forward with Jesus linking that front three together.
I'd argue we look the most deadly going forward,
I'd agree at the
tied
moment.
with City.
We'll see what happens when we really get tested, but Crystal Palace away
Yeah,
is a test, and Leicester is a test regardless, right?
yeah,
Right.
two very
We,
decent teams.
we've been talking
Top
for
10.
4 minutes about Arsenal. We've got to move on. We could talk all day about
Yeah,
Arsenal, but
we
moving
could.
on to a more comical subject, and that is Manchester United. Moment of silence for Ten Hag. Eric 10 points.
What do you even say about it? It's
the
just
the club is rotten
I've not.
from top to bottom, isn't it? That's the problem.
But
You can't,
yeah,
Ten Hag isn't the issue here. The players haven't been committed for about 5 years.
I
They've
I
down-tools
don't
before
like.
the season's even started. Martinez
It's
isn't going to work in the Premier League.
how much did
It's
they
so
pay
obvious
for
to
him?
see, about 60 million quid. I mean, he got bullied by Tony, bullied by Ben Mee for that goal. Ben Mee didn't even have to jump. He just
And
stood
they put a
there and
post up on
waited for the ball.
Instagram for it.
It's just...
It made him put a post up on Instagram. Bless him.
Yeah,
They just
Man
look
United are getting
atrocious.
bodied by Ben Mee on the pitch and on Twitter, which is an L.
I just I could genuinely see him finishing bottom half. That is why you will not
Well, that's
see.
what Gary Neville said.
I mean I don't usually agree with him.
No, do you know, I rate Gary
However,
Neville as a pundit, and when he's saying his own club could potentially finish bottom half, when he was saying 2 weeks ago that he reckoned they'll finish fourth,
that's genuine fear.
ropey. But you talk about the tactics, you talk about even again Gary Neville and even Jamie Carragher said this, and a few other people have said this. Even Mark Goldbridge said this. When you looked at the lineups before the game started, and you just look at the physical difference between the Brentford side and the Man United side,
Different.
you could almost see it coming. And the press from Brentford, they almost knew that Man United trying to play the Ten Hag way and play out the back.
Yeah.
They weren't comfortable doing it. They could see it. They could see it against Brighton when Brighton pressed them. They were
Yeah.
away to Brentford. Even from every goal kick that they played short, they pressed. One of the goals, they pressed Ericsson from all
Yeah.
directions, won the ball back, instant goal.
Yeah.
De Gea's confidence is clearly through the floor. There's clearly issues in the dressing room.
It was, to be fair, De Gea's comment did make me laugh. Oh yeah, I had a poor game. We didn't deserve to lose because
They,
of like
I mean,
he
they
basically
all
said
had a
he
poor game.
caused it.
Yeah, they all had a poor
I
game.
was like, it's not on him. The
Ronaldo's head
entire
is
team was.
clearly not there
I've
right
never
now.
liked Ronaldo in a team. Like if you like look at Benzema's numbers before and after Ronaldo,
Well, Ronaldo's quality, right? He
he
could
is
score. He
quality.
could score. So I was talking to someone on Twitter, right? He could score a hat trick against Liverpool next weekend or
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah, yeah.
But
But no,
it's
he's that
just
player that yes, he can get goals himself, but he is a team. The
Man.
team has to be
Yeah,
built for him.
Man United will scream to the hills about the same things Arsenal fans were saying 2 years ago. The
Yeah,
owners aren't actually investing any money. The money that's being spent is the money that the club's just generating. The owners taken £24 million out of the club a few weeks ago in dividends, whatever the fuck. And even Gary Neville said as well that a few years back, Man United in the bank were cash rich. They had £350 million in the bank account. Now that's
yeah.
£50 million. So not only are they spending money that the
But they're
club's
going
generating
nowhere.
on players that aren't working out, it's not
Yeah.
sustainable either. The wages are clearly a problem. And
You've got loads of big names in there, don't you? That's the
you do,
thing.
yeah. And without investment from the owners,
They're going nowhere.
the transfer fees are going to dry up as well soon. And
It's
it's
some of the players
worrying
there.
for
They're
a Man
massive,
United fan.
massive names. You've got Sancho, who's on a massive bumper wage. Ronaldo on a massive bumper wage. I've seen Varane's on stupid money. De Gea's
But
on stupid money.
did you see that video where Carragher and Neville ranked the Man United transfers like green, amber, red?
Yeah, I did.
Now, how long do we keep blaming the players for not adapting to the Premier League and not performing? And when do you start looking at the club as a whole? And why are all these top
Yeah,
quality players going there and quite
and flopping.
simply failing? Your Di Marias, who everywhere else quality
unreal.
player.
I don't
Your
think there needs to
Pogbas,
be like that. There shouldn't be a whole season adapting period.
there's
It
a
doesn't
core
exist.
issue at that club.
Yeah,
It's not
like
just players aren't performing. There is a
yeah,
core
but
issue there, clearly.
it's just not right. Like there's no such thing as like an entire season to adapt to a league. To me, that doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't want to jump back to it, but Saliba for Arsenal, he's been away for he's
Yeah,
not played a
true.
single like first thingy game. He's played and he's come and he's looked unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's like yes, that is his one game, but to me it just doesn't make sense. Like should not be
They
this
don't even
bad.
have a sporting director. Their transfer business is horrendous. They can't get the players in. Who
I
is
don't
in
understand the
charge of
Ericsson one.
making these transfers happen? I,
Ericsson doesn't make much sense to me. Like, what do you? No, what must he be thinking right now to lose to his old team 4-0?
They've got problems from top to bottom, and we can rant. Well, not even rant because we're not Man United fans. To be
No,
fair, it's
it's
quite funny. But
I love it.
you love it to an extent, right?
It's not
But
right.
you don't want it to have major impacts to the point where they're going to be bottom half of the Premier League. It's not fun at that point.
It's
It
funny.
is, but that rivalry is worse off
It's
for
just
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just fizzles out, and it's we'll beat him this week again. It does.
The club's rotten from
It's
top to bottom,
yeah.
isn't it?
There's a lot that needs changing. Look at the club's overhauls. Like look what Liverpool did that time.
Yeah.
Just a massive overhaul. Get everybody out. Start afresh. Arsenal in the middle of it now. On the up, basically. I mean,
Yeah,
there's so
exactly.
many teams that do it. Chelsea do it pretty much every couple of years
But
when they
even
need it.
Arsenal now, the Cronkies are putting in money, finally. And there's a plan there. Edu's pulling the
I mean, the
strings.
documentary
There's a
helps that out,
clear
doesn't it?
there's a clear structure and a clear plan. The squad has an age profile.
With
Man
the
United
youngest
have
in the
none of
league, yeah.
this. None of it.
No,
And
they're
it's
aging.
worrying for them looking even 5 years in the future.
Yeah, it doesn't look good.
Right.
They're going to be that low level Liverpool back in the day again soon. Well, they
Potentially.
are.
We'll have to move on because we've already been recording for 12 and a half minutes, and this is going to be
Oh
a long
God,
ass video at this rate because there's so much to
God,
talk about this
man.
week. But moving on to the next thing on the agenda, and it's the subscribe button.
Oh,
That's in the bottom right hand corner of the video,
it's
and I've
class. That is
heard
my surprise.
if you hit it,
Changes colour
your captain's going to haul and get 20 base points in game week 3. Do
unless
it.
it's Salah.
Anyway, the actual next point. Liverpool's dodgy start to the Premier League season. Now, I didn't watch the Fulham game because I was at the Swindon game and collecting money for Alzheimer's Society. However, I watched the game last night, and the biggest thing that stood out for me in the first half was just the lack of taking chances
Yeah.
and how easily, with a couple of good direct passes from Crystal Palace, they managed to get in behind in 2 passes.
It was how rattled Anderson was able to make Nunes just from literally being a centre half.
I think Nunes was wound up from the chances he missed earlier in the game.
He did miss quite a few
I think
sitters that
because
there was 2 or 3 that have to go in.
I'm not sure who was talking about it, but he has no record of disciplinary issues or losing his head and getting red cards.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he's missed arguably 3 chances he should be scoring.
Yeah.
He's been nudged in the back from Anderson,
A lot.
and
But I mean, it's not.
and he's committed GBH.
He did try throw an arm minutes before. Missed.
He already had a
Luckily.
go at him, didn't he? He already had a bit of a nudge in
Yeah.
the head, which he was
Yeah.
lucky to get away
But from
with.
the
2
behind,
seconds
yeah,
later,
yeah,
Anderson's literally nudged him on the shoulder because he's done it, and he's just lost it.
absolutely walloped him one in the
Well, I mean,
there.
Klopp's not going to be happy. It doesn't help Liverpool. They probably would have gone on to win that game without that happening. I
Yeah.
still have no doubt about that.
By the way, Diaz, what a finish!
Oh,
What a
mate,
goal!
world class. And in terms of FPL, don't panic sell your Liverpool assets. Don't do it. They're still class, right? They're still
Yeah.
going to keep plenty of clean sheets. But there are just a few concerning bits. Their midfield is aging.
Yeah, they
That
need
needs
some.
addressing. That
Yeah,
really needs
yeah.
addressing in the next couple of summer transfer windows. That front three is going to take a little bit of time to bed in. I think Bobby
Yeah.
Firmino being back in probably because Nunes is now suspended might help that situation. 'Cause
I
that's a bit
think
more
they were
familiar front
expecting.
three.
I think they were expecting the likes of Keita, Thiago to be more concrete, dead cert, like
Mm.
unbelievable players, but they just haven't. They've been
Thiago
good,
has
but
his
not
moments,
amazing.
Kate has his moments,
Yeah,
but they've not been consistent.
yeah.
Um, what is
Which you need.
Klopp's agenda against Joe Gomez?
Don't know.
Because why is Phillips suddenly starting ahead of him?
I don't know. Ever since he had that injury, that massive injury where he just disappeared off the face of the earth, he's come back and just. I don't know. But
Well,
he chucks him as a right back.
what I find interesting is I don't think that goal happens if Joe Gomez is in there.
No,
Because his recovery pace is so
different
much
level
better.
compared to Phillips.
Phillips. It's just, it's an
It's a
odd one.
weird one to me.
And Liverpool tried to
Like,
play so high
and you're
that
using Phillips. It's not going to work.
that link up between Eze and Zaha was always on if they managed to get past the first press on the forwards and the second press on the midfielders. And it was one
Yeah.
accurate ball from the keeper that completely opened them up, that found
Yeah.
Eze, and a tiny bit of skill on the through ball. It didn't seem like that it taken much, and that's always seems to be on against Liverpool. It happened a few times last year, but it got away with it, and it was something like they've conceded first in like the last 6 Premier League games. Liverpool,
I'm quite concerned for them.
not
Like the
concerned. They're not in trouble in terms of top 2, top 3 at all,
no,
right?
no, they'll be there, but
They're
I can't see them
still
winning the league.
no. I just think looking at
They,
them,
these sorts of games define the league as well. Like look at them last season.
they
What they
need
were 1 point
a
out.
centre midfielder. If they sign a centre midfielder, it's competitive, but they're already 4 points behind City, which City don't usually let you off the hook. I know they did last year almost,
Yeah,
but they don't let you off the hook for giving them a lead like that.
no,
So
it's.
it's an interesting one. I, I'm not sure about Liverpool. As,
I'd
Sal-
rather watch an Arsenal game than a
as
Liverpool one right now.
Salah's game week 2 curse continues. Never ever
Yeah,
not blanked in game week 2. That's pretty
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. It's yes, I know. I know it's pain. I
Well,
mean, as you can see, my new rank shows 861,000.
but yeah, don't panic sell any Liverpool
No,
players.
it's not worth. Not
They
worth.
will
Not
score
yet.
points. They are some of the best assets in the game.
I mean,
Trent and
yeah,
Robbo
high.
will score points. We will go into why I might sell Robbo in the next video, but that's not because I
Yeah,
want to sell Robbo. It's more because of a certain player in my
it
team,
just works well
Bailey,
for the team.
who
Yeah,
isn't starting every game, which is annoying. Anyway,
but
moving on
yeah,
to our last point, Adam.
the
Chelsea
Spurs,
versus
Chelsea.
Tottenham. Tottenham did not look good. They've nicked a point.
Yeah, they
And
have.
the biggest
It's
talking
0.1.
points in the game is should either of Tottenham goals have stood? Now, I'll give you the
I d-
answer. It's no,
yeah,
because the
yeah.
first goal, I can't remember who, I think it's Richarlison, is to directly
Mm.
in the keeper's eye line and it's in an offside position.
Yeah,
How
shouldn't
VAR
count.
has not picked that up, I literally called it as he struck the ball. You could see it. I think everyone could see it. And I'm no Chelsea fan, believe me. And
Yeah.
a draw is an amazing result for Arsenal, regardless of what time in the season it
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah.
But neither a goal should have stood. And
No,
how pulling Cucurella's hair down so he decks him
it's the way no
isn't
further
violent
action.
conduct is
Yeah,
unbelievable. And why VAR can't go back because it's not a red card offence and not just give the free kick is very weird to me.
it's a funny one. I mean,
Neither
even
a goal
they
should
even
have
come
stood.
out today and said, "Oh yeah, that there's no further action taken on it."
Well, no, because technically it's not a red card offence.
No, I mean, it's not, but I mean, it's assault.
I mean, in
You
my
pulled
opinion,
the man's hair.
if you pull someone's hair and you drag them down to the ground via their hair, that's violent
It's a
conduct,
foul.
in my
Yeah,
opinion. To be honest, no
yeah.
footballer should be doing that. Let's
Not
be
in the
honest.
modern day football anyway. Go back 20 years. I'd love to see that, but
Put
no.
on your full Graham Souness and stop talking about
Exactly.
how
No.
it's it's a man's game again. Oh dear.
It's his job.
I'm not going to go into that. Have you
No,
seen
I
that?
mean
It
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
my own opinions on that, but there we go.
Yeah.
It is quite a funny situation though.
Yeah, it's quite hilarious.
Uh,
There's not much more to speak on for the Tottenham
no, Tottenham didn't look
Chelsea game. It
great.
was just
Chelsea need a
neither
striker
side looked
desperately because Havertz has to score about 3 in that game. Reece James at right wing back, he should play every single second in that position. He's a cheat code.
joke. Yeah,
If he was
unbelievable.
guaranteed to play right wing back, I'd probably still have him in, even though I don't know like keeping a clean sheet at the moment, Chelsea.
Just from the attacking front.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And Tottenham don't worry me. I don't.
No,
Here's a question. I put this out on Twitter as well, and a lot of people agreed with me. How much have Tottenham actually improved? Everyone's raving about their transfer window. Richarlison doesn't start. Bissouma doesn't seem to start, and that's their main two signings. Perisic isn't starting. All right,
what gets me is
it's
the fact
good
they've still got Eric
rotation.
Dyer starting centre half.
Eric Dyer's still playing centre half. How much have they actually improved?
But they're good players. Like Richarlison's unbelievable, but he doesn't get an overcane. I
Yes,
mean, he
compare
shouldn't play out on the wing.
compare it to Arsenal's window. Jesus starts every game. Zinchenko's going to start 70% of the games and improve
Yeah,
us and make us more dynamic. Saliba's come back in and looks
started and made a
unbelievable.
massive impact.
Vieira's all right. He's been injured the
We
opening
don't know.
portion of
Yeah,
the season and is probably going to be a rotation player. But he's what £28 million in today's
yeah,
market, and he can play in 3 different positions as well.
yeah. We'll find out that I can't comment too much
You
from the
look
little
at Man
compilation I've
City's
watched.
window. Every signing improves them. You look
Yeah,
at Liverpool's
Haaland,
window. Their signings improve them. You look at Chelsea's
Nunez,
window.
yeah,
Cucurella's a weird one. All right. Do they really need him? I'm not
unbelievable.
sure.
Yeah,
A
didn't
great
need him,
player.
but
Sterling massively improves them. Tottenham, you can't say the same right now.
they've signed a bunch of bench players.
It doesn't seem that
I'm
way at
all
the
I'm
moment.
all one for like depth and whatnot, but I mean that should be pushing
No,
your first team
I want to put an
onto the
asterisk in
bench.
here. Everyone said that about Arsenal last season and all of our
Yeah,
signings,
had,
and didn't turn out to be the case whatsoever. So
yeah,
we could be proved wrong,
yeah.
but I
I
don't
mean,
see it right now.
you can see they're all good players, but it just doesn't. I don't know.
Mm.
The way it's being played just doesn't look
A few
too
last
good right now.
points before we outro. Nottingham Forest look good.
They look very, very
West Ham
good.
look in trouble. They've got no bench.
No bench, they're just
And the 5
lacking
sub
so
rules currently in
heavily.
place. They could,
Yeah,
looking back at our predictions, they could struggle a bit more this season, you know.
yeah.
Conference League football.
They're just lacking in certain areas. Like, I mean, Suchek doesn't seem to be the massive figure he used to be. Rice has had a slow start.
Yeah.
Antonio's never been that. Like, after that one season where he did really
Hmm.
well, he's just not been the same.
Newcastle
It's
look strong. Look like they could
they
actually
do,
finish 6th. Genuinely.
they do. Brighton look
What
strong.
else? Brighton look very strong even after losing Basuma and Kukurea.
Yeah, they've got those young
Um,
replacements in that just work. So
yeah. There was one other. Wolves look awful.
yeah, they look terrible.
And they've just sold loaned out Connor Cody to
That
Everton,
makes
who
sense to
also
me.
are struggling. Lampard can get
Yeah.
sacked quickly.
Never fancied him as a manager. Never.
I think they're Bournemouth look a lot better than anyone gave them credit for,
Yeah,
even after losing
they
4
do.
0 to City. But the opening
But
weekend they
a
look good.
City, yeah.
Will they finish
I'd
bottom? Maybe not. And I
I mean, the
massively
rate it's going,
underestimated Brentford. I had them in my relegation zone, and they are looking good.
I mean, Leeds are kind of underestimated in a
Yeah,
sense.
Leeds look good.
Look all right, look decent. Rodrigo's actually turning up finally.
I don't think that will last long. I think that's early season form, and I wouldn't put them in your FPL team.
No, don't like the looks of Villa again.
Yeah, I don't know.
I called it.
They
Don't.
won this weekend, but I'm not sure.
No, it just
Leicester
doesn't.
could be in trouble if they sell Tielemans and Madison's also linked to Newcastle.
Yeah, well, yeah, I
But
saw
I
that. It was
kind of
a really
called
weird
that
one.
anyway. But
Yeah.
and I said before we signed Jesus, I'm not sure about the signing. I'm currently the biggest idiot on the internet,
Yeah. No,
and
who
I'm
said
very
at
happy
the
to be
start of
wrong.
the season? Yeah.
Incredibly happy to be wrong. Like
I said it from the
fantastic.
start. He looks
What a player!
exactly what we need. He's a joke.
Have you seen our new song about him?
Yeah, I literally sent it to you on Twitter
Class,
like just
class,
before this.
class. But yeah,
But I think
I
that
think
wraps it up.
I think that's us, isn't it?
Yep.
transferring back to
we
this
will.
screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've gone on for 25 minutes. It's
rambled.
like a
Yeah,
mini podcast.
my first day back. I mean,
Has to be done.
there's a lot to talk about. It's been a busy 2 weeks,
Well, we're off to the outlet to search for football tops and then go to the
and
swimming
then
game.
off to.
Up the swim.
Yeah, I
Hang
don't
on.
really want to talk about that again.
Nah, we've been shit so far. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
This has been our Game Week 2 review. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the like button. It helps us more than you can imagine. And we've been Football Fumble. I've been Ross.
I've been Adam.
And we are out of here.
Peace.
Peace.